Hello, everyone. This is the Board Game Lawyer, and welcome to my final game of the Rise of Red Skull campaign. So, of course, I'm playing Marvel Champions. It's a game brought to us by Fantasy Flight Games. My apologies that it took me an entire month to run through this campaign, but this has probably been one of the busiest months that I've had, both secularly and personally. But that's really a selling point of this game, right? If you're a busy person and you just have little windows of opportunity to play a game, you can pick up right where you left off and you can have lots of fun. So let's talk a little bit about where we are in our campaign right now. You've probably heard me explain it already that I'm using cards only from the core set and from the campaign box. That the hero that I picked for the campaign was Spider Woman. But I did unlock some packs along the way. I just threw in some extra rules for myself just to have fun. So I threw in Captain America and Black Widow. So I also included in the card pool aspect cards from Leadership and Justice. So in my campaign, I have yet to use Aggression and Justice together. And so that's what I have chosen for my last game today. So let's have a look at the campaign log and see where we left off in this final showdown between Spider Woman and Red Skull. So we just defeated Dr. Zola. And we pick up in our comic here. It says, Avengers Assemble. Keep working. I'll deal with the Avengers. So that's our comic. The scenario number 5, the Red Skull reads, You have liberated Zola's island and disarmed the Mad Doctor. But the reality gem still eludes you. You learn from Zola that the gem resides with the true mastermind behind Hydra's ascendancy, the brilliant and nefarious Red Skull. The villain has taken up residence in Washington, D.C., and transformed the White House into his personal fortress. But Red Skull's ambition for conquest did not end with the USA. He plans to bind every nation under Hydra rule with the power of the reality gem. His scientists work round the clock to make the necessary modifications to Zola's machine. Once completed, Red Skull will use the reality gem to conquer the whole world. If that happens, nobody will be safe from the types of atrocities you witnessed in Zola's labs. You cannot allow this to happen. You must defeat Red Skull and use the reality gem to bring things right again. So as we look at our campaign now, we see that we're going to use Red Skull 1 and 2, which is what I'm using. We're playing a standard game of Red Skull today. The main scheme deck is the Rise of Red Skull and the New World Hydra, which we have right here. Also, the encounter deck says that we go find the Hydra Assault set and the Hydra Patrol set and the Standard set. We're also asked to set up a side scheme deck, and those rules, I believe, are on our main scheme here. Yeah, so we'll do that when we look at our card. And then as far as other setup is concerned, we have campaign instructions. Each player searches their deck for all cards with the setup keyword and puts them into play. So we did have our improved thwart upgrade, which is a permanent setup. You get +2 hit points. Your hero gets +1 thwart. After you defeat a side scheme, exhaust this card and draw 1 card. So there's our permanent upgrade that we keep. Also, in our campaign instructions, it says to shuffle each experimental attachment recorded in the campaign log into the encounter deck. Well, we wrote down that we have the energy shield and laser rifle. Sorry about my handwriting. Then it also says to place X threat counters on the main scheme, where X is the number of delay counters recorded in the campaign log. All right. So we have the number of delay counters, that big old 3 right there. Okay, so that's how many threat we're going to place on our main scheme. I'll go ahead and place those now. And then we have some more set up here, because even though we're playing against Red Skull in standard mode, we're also using our expert campaign rules. So this one says the expert campaign only, set each player's hit points to the remaining hit point value recorded in the campaign log from the previous scenario. So our previous hit points were 9. We wrote that right here. And so we have our dial set at 9. And then it says expert campaign only. Each player may add one random obligation from their expert campaign set to their deck to heal their identity to its full hit point value. So we haven't taken a look at those cards yet. We haven't needed them yet. But I thought that here in the last game that we would take a look at these obligations. They give us 4 different obligations: medical emergency, martial law, Zola's algorithm, and anti-hero propaganda. So those are our 4 different ones. And what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and add one to my deck, because if you watched my previous game, you'll notice that I made a few minor errors in the game. One of which is I used an illegal ally. Instead of putting Quake in, I put in Quasar, and Quasar did some work. So I'm going to punish myself. I won't heal myself all the way up, but I will add an obligation to my deck, and I'm going to pick it randomly so we don't know which one it is. We'll probably see it as we go through our game today. So I'm just going to pick this random obligation. Don't know what it is, and I'm just going to shuffle it right into my deck. Give it a good shuffle here. So normally you use that to bring yourself up to full strength, but I'm basically going to use it to pay for past sins. And I'll just leave my hit points at 11. Now you'll remember that I have the improved thwart upgrade, so I get +2 hit points. So I'll go ahead and add those now. And I'll bring Spider-Woman up to 11. Okay. So there's my obligation that I've added to my deck. Also, expert campaign only. Each player who was recorded as being engaged with an enemy deals themselves an encounter card. Well, was I engaged with an enemy? I wrote a big yes here, so I have to deal myself an additional encounter card. And then finally it says expert campaign only. If players lose this game, Red Skull conquers the world and the players lose the campaign. Well, we hope that doesn't happen. All right, so is there anything else to set up here? Let's take a look at let's look at Red Skull first. He comes into play with 2 scheme, 0 attack. He has a star next to his attack. Red Skull gets +1 attack for each side scheme in play. All right, and he begins with hit points of 12. The rise of the Red Skull main scheme gives us our contents, which we've already included in our deck. And also our setup says put the red house into play. So that's the red house right there. Shuffle every other side scheme into the side scheme deck and set it next to the encounter deck. C insert. Set the sleeper aside out of play. So here's all my other side schemes. So we'll shuffle all these together, and we'll set those next to my encounter deck off to the side over here. We put the red house into play. Now the red house reads, Red Skull cannot take damage. Interrupt. When a character thwarts this side scheme, they may use their attack instead of their thwart. And it comes into play with 3 threat on it. It also told us to put the sleeper out of play. So here's the sleeper. It's pretty beefy. Guard, retaliate, toughness, 5 health, 3 attack. Sleeper's pretty tough, but we're told to set him aside for now. Get myself some grape drink. All right. Let's flip our main scheme over. It says it has a forced response. After resolving step 1 of the villain phase, reveal the top card of the side scheme deck and put it into play. And in each round we put +1 threat. 8 it threats out. So our main scheme is complete. Red Skull's on the table. We have an additional encounter card that we'll have to deal with on his first turn. Jessica Drew's ready. We have our deck built. She has an action that I can look at the top card of any deck, and I can do that a limit of once per round. And I begin with a hand size of 6. So we'll go ahead and begin our final game of this Rise of Red Skull campaign. So we'll start by drawing up a hand size of 6 cards. So we draw the Power of Aggression. We have the Followed card. We're going to draw Pheromones. Another Followed card. A Spider Girl. And Piercing Strike. So those are our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. We don't need 2 copies of Followed, so I think I'll discard that. We're doing our mulligan now. We will keep the Power of Aggression. I think I'll get rid of Piercing Strike. And we'll draw 2 additional cards to begin the game. Clear the Area and Quake. All right then. So with that Power of Aggression, we can play Spider Girl. So we'll keep that in mind. It's also good to play the Followed card onto the table. Quake. She's good if there's minions on the table. Clear the Area. All right. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to do her action first, which is a look at the top card of my encounter deck. It's a Hydra Soldier. He has 1 boost icon on him. So we'll flip over to our Spider Woman side. And she has her superhuman agility. We've looked at that before. +1 thwart, +1 attack, and +1 defense. Each time I play a different aspect card. So I've got some markers here. I'll pull those out of my storage box. Set those over here. So we will play Spider Girl, even though I don't have any minions to stun and confuse. We'll put Spider Girl on the table for 1. Power of Aggression card. And I think we will use Spider Girl to thwart 1 threat off of the red house. Okay. And then we'll spin Quake. Now let's do that. Let's spin Quake to put the Followed card on the red house. Followed says attached to a side scheme, max 1 per side scheme. When attached scheme is defeated, deal 4 damage to an enemy. So far we've played 1 aggression card. We played 1 justice card. And we do need to put 1 consequential damage onto Spider Girl. Okay, so if we play Clear the Area to clear these threat off of the red house, remove 2 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat of the scheme, draw a card. So we'll play Clear the Area to clear both of these. So that takes care of the red house. And so it goes to the discard pile for my side schemes. The Followed card is triggered. When attached scheme is defeated, deal 4 damage to an enemy. So we'll deal 4 damage to the Red Skull. Knocks him down to 8. And you'll recall that we can draw a card for Clear the Area. So we'll draw the Power of Aggression. And then this one says a response after you defeat a side scheme, exhaust this card and draw 1 card. So we'll exhaust the Improved Thwart upgrade to draw the Venom Blast. Okay, good. So with the Power of Aggression, we'll use the Venom Blast card to deal 5 damage to Red Skull. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage to Red Skull. And then Spider Woman, she's going to attack for +2. So 1 attack +2 does 3 damage to Red Skull. And in our first turn, we have cleared stage 1 of the Red Skull. All right, so she did that damage. He comes into play with 16 hit points. Stage 2 of the Red Skull. 16 hit points. Says Red Skull again gets +1 attack for each side scheme in play. When revealed, deal each player an encounter card. So I have one more encounter card I got to deal myself. And I'll set it over here next to this one. Hard to see against that black backdrop with my black sleeves. But now I've got 2 encounter cards I'm going to have to deal with on my turn. So let's draw up our 5 cards. And we'll end our turn. So we draw Captain Marvel. We draw the Mockingbird. We draw Jessica Drew's apartment. Another Clear the Area. And another Clear the Area. So those are our 5 cards going into our next turn. All right, so the Red Skull, we're going to place 1 threat onto the main scheme, the Rise of Red Skull. After resolving step 1 of the villain phase, reveal the top card of the side scheme deck and put it into play. It is the Hydra Patrol. Each player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a Hydra minion and puts it into play, engage with them, and shuffle the encounter deck. I cannot remove threat because of this crisis icon from the main scheme while it's on the table, and it comes into play with 2 threat on it. All right. Very good. So now Red Skull is going to attack Spider-Woman. And I think I'm just going to allow that to happen. So he's going to attack for 1 + 1 is 2. And another 2 is 4 damage to Spider-Woman. So we knock her down to 7. Deal ourselves a 3rd encounter card. Let's take a look at our first one. It is a Hydra Exo Soldier. He comes into play. He has toughness. And he has hit points of 5. So we got a tough minion on the table. No guard though, so that's good. Next we draw a Infinite Power, which is a treachery card. It says when revealed hero, give Red Skull a tough status card. Red Skull attacks you. Infinite Power. So he gets a tough card. Now he's going to attack me again. 1 + 1 is 2. And we add 3 more to it, so 5 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. Knocks us all the way down to 2. And then our final encounter card is a Hydra Soldier who has a guard. That while this minion is engaged with you, you cannot attack the villain. It has a when defeated, deal the engaged player an encounter card. So we will have to deal with the Hydra Soldier, but that will end Red Skull's turn. Give me a little drink here. All right, let's see what we can do. So this says, when defeated, each player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a Hydra minion. That would put 3 minions on the table if we take on Hydra Patrol right now. I do like Mockingbird. If we clear the area, though, we'll be able to draw 2 more cards because of the improved thwart upgrade. Captain Marvel allows us to draw a card. But if I play Captain Marvel, that's going to be my entire play for the round. Not so bad, really. I might do that. Let's see. He does 2 damage. He does 2 damage. We've got to get rid of him off the table in order to even do any damage at all to Red Skull. So, Mockingbird. I do like the idea of bringing Mockingbird out. think about what I want to do here. The only cards that'll benefit me on my special ability are the clear the area cards. I think I might try to use them. So let's do that. Let's play clear the area to get rid of the Hydra Patrol. So we remove 2 threat from Hydra Patrol. Each player searches the encounter deck discard pile for a Hydra minion and puts it into play. Let's see what we got. I don't have any in my discard pile. Let's see which Hydra minions would be over here that wouldn't be quite so dangerous. There's lots of them. How about the Hydra regular? Do we reveal him or put him into play? Put it into play, engage with him. In Site 1, when this card is revealed, to place 1 threat on the main scheme. So this is put into play. So we'll put the Hydra regular into play. And I'll go ahead and shuffle my encounter deck. And I do get to draw a card because I played clear the area. So I get to draw 1 card for that, which is Hulk. And then we're going to draw another card because of improved thwart upgrade, because we removed a side scheme from the table. And so we draw Inconspicuous, which that's not too bad. We could still put down Captain Marvel, or we could put out Hulk and Inconspicuous. That may not be so bad either. Tell you what, let's put Hulk out onto the table for 2. We use Jessica Drew's apartment and Captain Marvel to put out Hulk onto the table. All right. And then we will, so that's an aggression card. And then we'll play Inconspicuous to remove 3 threat from among schemes in play. So we'll take 3 threat off of this one. Let's see, Spider Girl is going to attack. Let's have Spider Girl attack the Hydra regular for 2 damage. That'll remove him and her from the table. Then we'll have Hulk attack. He's going to do 3 damage to the Hydra soldier. And then he has an ability which says, after Hulk attacks, discard the top card of your deck. If that card's printed resource is a fist, deal 2 damage to an enemy. An energy, deal 1 damage to each character. Or if it's a mental, we discard Hulk. So we discard a fist, which is to deal 2 damage to an enemy. So we'll deal 2 damage to the Hydra soldier. I was kind of hoping to do 1 damage to everybody, but I'll take it. 2 damage to the Hydra soldier. We'll knock him out of play. Place 1 consequential damage onto Hulk. And then Spider-Woman is going to attack the Red Skull, knock off his tough card. And she's going to flip to her alter ego form. And now this will allow me to look at the top card of the Red Skull's deck, and it is an infinite power card. And we'll put it back. So we'll ready Hulk, we'll ready Jessica Drew, ready her improved thwart upgrade, and we'll draw 6 cards. So we have the Genius card, we draw Venom Blast, Finesse, an Energy card, Skilled Investigator, and another finesse card. I like that. Seems solid. So, how about we start the Red Skull's turn by placing one threat on the main scheme. Red Skull. Oh, he gets to draw an encounter card, or a side scheme. So it's the Hydra Reinforcements. When defeated, the player who defeated this scheme discards a non-elite minion. Ooh. And it comes into play with 2 threat on it. Like that. But it does give me an additional encounter card, which could be dangerous. So Red Skull's going to scheme for 3 plus 2 is 5. He places 5 threat on the Rise of Red Skull, 5, 6, 7, and then Hydra Exo Soldier is going to scheme for 2 more. So that's going to scheme out side 1B of the Rise of Red Skull. Let's see what the New World Hydra reveals. It says, when revealed, reveal the top card of the side scheme deck and put it into play. Top card of the side scheme deck reads, Censor the Past. When defeated, each player chooses up to 3 cards in their discard pile and shuffle them into their deck. And it has an acceleration icon on it. Comes into play with 3 threat on it. New World Hydra flips over. Force response after resolving step 1 of the villain phase. Reveal the top card of the side scheme deck. Put it into play. When the scheme is completed, the players lose the game. Comes into play with 1 threat on it. An 11 will finish it off. Now I have to deal myself 2 encounter cards. So our first one is here. Our next one is here. This reads, Hydro Exo Soldier. He has a tough. Comes into play with a tough card on him, just like our other one there. So he's getting himself a pretty good army built up. And then we have Spreading Lies. When revealed, place 2 threat on each scheme in play. Ooh. All right. So we're going to place 2 threat onto Censor the Past. 2 threat onto Hydra Reinforcements. And 2 threat on the New World Hydra. Okay. All right, Skilled Investigator. After a side scheme is defeated, exhaust Skilled Investigator and draw 1 card. Okay, so she has 1, 2. All right, here's what we're going to do. Let's take a look at the top card of my encounter deck. It is Master Strategist. Has 2 boost icons on it. So with 2, we'll put down Finesse for 2. We'll put down another. For 2 resources, we'll put out a Finesse. For another 2 resources, we'll put out another Finesse. We're going to play Skilled Investigator on the table. So that is a Justice card. And then Venom Blast. Oh, we need to flip her first. Then we put out Skilled Investigator. We'll exhaust Finesse and Finesse to play the Venom Blast. And that will put another aggression marker. So we have a Justice marker, an aggression marker. We'll We'll play the Venom Blast by exhausting these two to do 5 damage to the Red Skull. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Knocks him down to 11. And then we will, with Spider-Woman, I'll do this. With Spider-Woman, we're going to thwart, because she's +1, 1, +1, and +2, so 4. We'll take these 4 threat off of Hydra Reinforcements, which has a when defeated that I like. And so when defeated, the player who defeated this scheme discards a non-elite minion. So one of these Hydro Exo Soldiers is going to get removed. So he's defeated. We also, since we have Skilled Investigator, we defeated a side scheme, so we're going to exhaust it, as well as improve Thwart Upgrade to draw 2 cards. So we draw Stealth Strike, and we draw a Piercing Strike. Neither of which we'll be able to play at this point. So I think we'll go ahead and attack with Hulk. He'll do 3 damage to the Red Skull. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll flip our card, and it is Nick Fury, and it says discard Hulk. Ooh, worst possible one I could have drawn. Discard Hulk. Okay, I may be in trouble, folks. That could have been the decision that I made that wrecked the game for me. Let's see if it did. So we'll ready Skilled Investigator, we'll ready Spider-Woman, her improved Thwart Upgrade, Finesse, and Finesse, and we'll draw up our hand size of 5. So we draw Pheromones and Enraged, Tigra, Contaminant Immunity, and Zola's Algorithm. Alter Ego Action. Exhaust your alter ego. Discard this card. So this obligation comes onto the table, and the only way I can remove it is with my alter ego. And I just flipped up, so I couldn't have flipped back down anyway. All right. So those are my 4 cards going into my next turn. We'll go ahead and place 1, 2, 3 threat on the New World Hydra. Red Skull is going to attack Spider-Woman, and I don't think there's anything I can do to block anything if I were to block. Oh, and I had to draw an additional. Oh, so the sleeper comes into play. Wow. So yeah, the side scheme cannot leave play while the sleeper's in play. When revealed, put the sleeper into play, engage with the first player. When the sleeper is defeated, remove this card from the game. All right, here comes the sleeper. He comes into play with a tough card on him. So there's nothing I can do because Red Skull's going to attack. Hydra Exo Soldier's going to attack. Sleeper's going to attack. For a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage. There's no way that Spider-Woman could stand against that. And so Spider-Woman has lost against the Red Skull, meaning that I have lost the campaign. Sorry for the anticlimactic ending to a long series of campaign. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. And I look forward to doing this again sometime. But for now, I'm looking forward to opening up my Sinister Motives box. I've already opened it up, actually. You may have seen me do that. But I haven't got to play with any of the cards yet. So I'm looking forward to playing some Sinister Motives. I'm also looking forward to getting back to some Marvel Champions monthly challenges, as well as taking on a challenge that my buddy Vardain has issued over at the Critical Encounters podcast. He gave us a challenge recently, so look them up on Facebook or on Discord to take a look at the challenge that was given to us by Steve over there. So please feel free to like and subscribe if you're enjoying my playthrough videos. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can shoot me an email at boardgamelawyer@gmail.com. I'd like to thank you for watching my playthrough video today. I hope that you have a great week, and I also hope to be able to bring you another video again very soon.